Nike finally delivers Caitlyn Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlyn Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the
AJA Wilson just saw something unfold. Something that likely made her pause and wonder if everything she believed about Nike's values had been upside down all along.
At least we saw something. We saw something from Nike about her PE. And they finally released a PE. Paige Becker's already got a PE. Jewel Lloyd's got multiple. A lot of people.
The swoosh just unleashed Caitlyn Clark's first big solo commercial. And the internet? Yeah, it's completely losing its mind. Meanwhile, WNBA ratings without Clark? They've crashed hard. The timing of this Nike rollout couldn't be more brutal. Unless, of course, your name is Caitlyn Clark. So now the real question, did Nike finally open its eyes and see who their true superstar is? Or is this just a flashy move way too late?
So Nike finally released their trailer for Caitlyn Clark's sneaker. They finally did. And a lot of people thought that when Nike were talking up, they were going to be, talking up like Caitlyn might have been getting her signature shoe. They might have been talking up potentially Caitlyn getting that signature shoe. And it would have been really cool if Caitlyn got her signature shoe. But let's be real, that was never happening. That was never, ever, ever happening.
Oh boy, where do we even begin with this corporate masterpiece in timing? Nike just unveiled Caitlyn Clark's first major solo commercial since she stepped into the WNBA. And the reactions? Exactly what you'd expect. And somehow even more.
And by the way, I know she doesn't have a signature shoe. But this is the first time in 5 years that there is a player that has had their own Kobe. Available 30th of the 6th in selected regions.
But before we even dive into the commercial itself, we've got to talk about the context, because that's what makes this whole moment painfully awkward for a few folks. WNBA ratings this past week without Caitlyn Clark? Embarrassing. We're talking numbers so low, you'd start to wonder if anyone's actually tuning in when the Indiana Fever isn't on the court. NBA TV aired 3 games this week, and combined, they still didn't touch the viewership of Clark's lowest-rated game all season. Just let that marinate for a second. Los Angeles Sparks versus Chicago Sky, Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, and Hailey Van Lith on the floor pulled in 240,000 viewers. Now, if you listen to the people always hyping how marketable these players are, that matchup should have been a ratings dream. Angel's a star, Hailey's the exciting new name, and Kelsey Plum, supposedly a big-time draw. But 240,000 viewers, that's what we got. And hang on, it gets worse. Sparks versus Minnesota Lynx, with Plum again and Afisa Collier, who some even argue is the best player in the league, only drew 220,000. Collier is a real deal, a 3-level scorer who can lock down anywhere defensively. But apparently, none of that seems to matter. Translate to people actually wanting to watch her play. And then, we hit rock bottom. Connecticut Sun versus Las Vegas Aces pulled in a painfully low 100,000 viewers. Yep, just 100,000. On national TV. In the year 2025. That's not a typo. Not a glitch. That's just a cold, brutal truth about what WNBA ratings look like when Caitlyn Clark isn't part of the picture. To really feel it, add up all 3 games, 240,000 plus 220,000 plus 100,000. That's 560,000 total viewers. Now compare that to Clark's lowest-rated game on NBA TV this season, which pulled in 581,000. Her highest? 624,000. One player. One game. Outdrawing 3 full broadcasts featuring all the so-called marketable stars. And it's that backdrop where Nike finally finally decides to give Clark the solo commercial she's earned. From a "we told you so" angle, the timing couldn't be more perfect. And from the perspective of everyone insisting she's not that much more popular than the others, absolutely devastating. The commercial itself? Honestly, it's fantastic. Classic Nike, moody, atmospheric, and just as dialed into the mental grind as a physical battle. We watch Clark lace up her new Kobe 5 Pro Player exclusives, and as a cinematic transformation, noise fades, the world goes quiet, and all that's left is a raw, unshakable drive to dominate. It's the kind of treatment Nike usually reserves for its biggest icons. And the Kobe connection? Pure brilliance from a branding perspective. By aligning Clark with a Mamba brand, Nike's not just selling sneakers, they're making a statement. She belongs in that rare basketball greatness. This isn't about a commercial, it's about cementing her legacy. The quick flash of snake eyes, that moment where her gaze shifts into something sharp and otherworldly, that's a direct callback to Kobe's Mamba mentality. But here's what really hits. You start to realize just how long it took Nike to get here. Never ceases to amaze me. Others kept it blunt. Thank goodness, time to buy Nike stock again. But this moment, it goes way beyond just basketball fandom. It's about recognizing value, real, commercial value, and feeling the frustration when big companies somehow miss the most obvious opportunities. And on a technical level, the commercial delivers. The cinematography, stunning. The sound design pulls you in, wraps around you, creates this fully immersive vibe. The production quality, easily on par with anything Nike's ever done for their top-tier icons. This isn't some rush piece of content. They treated it like what it is, a major moment for a major athlete. But let's zoom out for a second, because this also opens up a bigger conversation about what it means for other players in the league, especially A.J. Wilson. She's been Nike's go-to WNBA athlete for years, consistently featured, regularly promoted, and deservingly so. Wilson's one of the best to ever do it, and her talent is unquestionable. But when you stack up what she's received next to what Clark just got, yeah, the contrast is hard to ignore. That's not Wilson's fault, of course. She can't control Nike's marketing strategy or what the public chooses to tune in for. But still, it's got to sting a little. Watching a second-year player get the kind of promotional spotlight that took you years to earn? The optics are rough, no way around it. Then there's the shoe itself, the Kobe 5 Pro Player exclusive, dropping on the Nike SNKS app. And let's be real, everyone knows it's going to sell out instantly. The resale market? Probably about to explode, with pairs likely flipping for thousands. That's the kind of demand Caitlyn Clark brings to the table. And it's exactly why Nike should have been all in on this from day one. What makes it even more fascinating is that this isn't even her signature shoe, it's just a player exclusive. But Nike's treating it like a soft launch, a test run to measure the hype before fully committing to a signature line. And given what's coming, given the early reactions, that signature shoe announcement probably can't come soon enough. And the timing of this commercial release, right as Clark is dealing with injuries and missing games, is no accident. It's a savvy move. It keeps her top of mind, even when she's not on the floor. It preserves her commercial momentum and helps cushion any dip in attention while she's sidelined. From a business standpoint, this isn't just a flashy ad. It's Nike finally admitting what the rest of us have known for months. Caitlyn Clark isn't just her biggest asset in women's basketball. She's her biggest basketball asset, period. The viewership numbers don't lie. The merch sales don't lie. And the overwhelming fan response? That definitely doesn't lie. The team behind this commercial clearly got the memo. They built something that feels big, that feels historic. Something that treats Clark not like a rising star, but like the superstar she already is. Then just another WNBA player getting the standard, check-the-box promo treatment. The attention to detail, from the lighting, to the sound design, to the symbolism, makes it clear this wasn't thrown together. Real resources were poured into this. And that snake eyes moment? Absolute genius from a marketing standpoint. It's subtle enough to avoid feeling gimmicky, but clear enough that any basketball fan instantly catches the Kobe reference. It's the kind of thoughtful detail that elevates a commercial from forgettable to iconic. Looking at the bigger picture, this might actually mark a turning point in how Nike handles women's basketball marketing. Instead of treating it like an afterthought or diversity obligation, they are finally beginning to see the real commercial upside. Clark's rise may have forced them to confront opportunities they'd never taken seriously before. And when you compare that realization with the brutal TV ratings when Clark isn't playing, it makes this commercial feel even more impactful. While games featuring other supposedly marketable stars are drawing embarrassingly low viewership, Nike is investing serious money and creative energy into promoting Clark. The message is clear. They know where the value is. What's really going to be interesting is seeing how much promotional support Nike puts behind this commercial. We get the same kind of media buy that their major NBA star commercials get. Will it show up during prime time programming? The level of commitment they show in promoting the commercial itself will tell us a lot about how seriously they're taking Clark's commercial potential. The fan hunger for Clark merchandise have been obvious for months, and this commercial is probably just the beginning of Nike finally capitalizing on that demand. A clothing line is reportedly coming before the holidays, and the signature shoe should follow sometime next year. If they execute properly, the financial returns could be massive for other WNBA players. This commercial has to be a wake-up call about the realities of professional sports marketing. Isn't just about talent anymore. You've got to actually move the needle. And right now, in the entire league, only a handful of players can do that consistently. Caitlyn Clark has proven she can, over and over. And Nike, at long last, is responding the way they should. The technical execution of the commercial also raises a bar for WNBA promo content. This isn't some bargain bin ad that looks like it was filmed at a strip mall car dealership. This is premium, high-production value storytelling that treats women's basketball with the respect and scale it deserves. And the psychological impact on Clark herself? That's probably huge. When a powerhouse like Nike finally steps up and gives you the kind of spotlight you've earned, that's got to feel validating, especially after months of feeling, at times, like an afterthought. This kind of recognition doesn't just build a brand, it solidifies her status as a true superstar. Because of this commercial, we're seeing the Clark effect in full force. She's pulling in eyeballs from people who usually wouldn't give women's basketball a second glance. And the ripple effects? They reach far beyond Nike. You can almost hear the groans from other brands right now, watching this ad and realizing they missed their shot to sign her. That exclusivity deal Nike has? It's looking more and more like a gold mine with every passing day. But what's truly brilliant is how the commercial doesn't just hype a product. It places Clark inside the fabric of basketball culture. By linking her to Kobe's legacy, Nike isn't just praising her. They're declaring that she belongs in the same conversations as the sport's all-time greats. And that's not a statement they make lightly. The production choices say it all. The dark, moody visuals. The cinematic pacing. It's clear, they don't just see Clark as a star. They see her as a generational icon in the making. Professional career. Nike doesn't make commercials like this for athletes they're only half invested in. This isn't just about selling shoes. It's about building a legacy. They see Clark not just as a player, but as a cultural icon in the making. And that level of treatment, that's reserved for the truly transcendent. Now, stack that against the WNBA's current ratings problem. Games without Clark are struggling to find any kind of meaningful audience. Meanwhile, Nike is pouring serious resources into a commercial centered entirely around her. They are not just buying into her talent. They are banking on her star power. And clearly, they understand something that a chunk of the basketball media still seems reluctant to admit. The ripple effect of this ad is going to echo far beyond just one brand. Other companies are watching this blow up, and you can bet they're asking themselves some hard questions. Why aren't we investing more in women's sports? Why did we pass on the most obvious opportunity in years? For Clark, this commercial is more than a marketing milestone. It's a powerful, public validation of everything she's accomplished in just a short time. Long-term support behind her. This is Nike saying loud and clear, Caitlyn Clark isn't just part of the plan. She is a plan. A cornerstone of their basketball marketing strategy moving forward. And the technical aspects of the commercial absolutely deserve more credit. The sound design pulls you in, creating this immersive experience that puts you right inside Clark's head during her pregame ritual. The visual effects are subtle but powerful, especially that snake eyes moment, a perfect nod to Kobe's legacy without ever feeling forced. Even the wardrobe and styling are intentional, sleek, modern, aspirational. Nike isn't just showing Clark as someone to admire, they are framing her as someone fans want to emulate. That's a key move for driving merchandise sales and building a brand that lasts. The location choices, not some random gym or background court. This is a space that feels intimate and epic, crafted to elevate basketball into something that looks and feels like art. That's the kind of creative direction that turns a commercial into a statement. And in the bigger picture, this ad signals a real shift in how major brands treat women's sports. Female athletes aren't being used as diversity checkmarks anymore. They are being positioned as serious commercial engines. Clark's rise has likely fast-tracked that shift by years. Add in the timing with the All-Star Game announcement, and it's a perfect marketing storm. Clark is about to be front and center during All-Star Weekend. And now, she walks in with this kind of momentum behind her. An incredible commercial to amplify her presence. Pure synergy, and absolutely brilliant. For other players in the league, this ad isn't just a flex, it's a blueprint. If you can build the kind of following Caitlyn Clark has, the marketing doors will swing open. But it also serves as a stark reminder of just how far ahead she is when it comes to commercial appeal. Bottom line, Nike finally woke up and recognized who their real basketball star is. The commercial? Fantastic. The timing? Flawless. And the contrast with those dismal WNBA ratings without Clark? It makes the whole thing that much more satisfying. AJA Wilson and other stars can only watch as Clark gets a kind of superstar treatment they probably assumed was reserved for long-tenured vets. Because here's the truth. The business side of pro sports is harsh, but brutally honest. It doesn't care about tenure. It cares about impact. And this commercial is Nike's way of acknowledging that truth. They finally remembered something important. They like making money. And Caitlyn Clark? She brings it in by the truckload. The gap between Clark's star power and the league's ratings without her? You couldn't draw it in bolder lines. So if you're hyped to see which brands finally come to their senses and recognize Clark's value, go ahead, smash that like button and subscribe. And hey, while you're here, what do you think her signature shoe logo should look like? Drop your ideas below.